Billie Jo, how are you? And welcome to the HealyCast. We don't really do much of an intro. We're like the Joe Rogan Experience. We just kind of like go with the flow and go into it.
All right.
You're from Boulder, Colorado.
Yes.
And how long have you been doing stand-up comedy?
12 years.
12 years.
Yeah.
Wow. And what made you even step into it 12 years ago?
Well, I wanted to step into it a long time before that, but I had kids, did the responsible thing. Once they were teenagers and didn't need parental control so much,
Right.
Then
Makes
I
sense.
started doing stand-up.
Makes sense. Wait till the kids are out kind of on their own and then do what you want to do.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of a good idea, honestly. Got to be patient for that, though, which you kind of weren't patient, weren't you?
I was writing, nothing good because I didn't know what I was doing yet, but I was writing.
I don't know if it wasn't good. I mean, you've been doing it for 12 years. I see you booking shows and making your way around, I know for sure, Oklahoma and the Colorado area. So, I think you're doing pretty well for yourself in 12 years, and I think you were doing fine for yourself before. I mean, as long as you were writing, that's the
When
main
I
thing.
go and look at the old joke books, I can definitely see growth.
That's true.
And I'm glad I kept a lot of them because I go back now and I look at my old thoughts that I couldn't make funny then, and I'm writing what I wished I could write back then. So I'm glad that I kept them because as I'm preparing for this next tour, I'm really diving back into some of the old material that didn't work.
Yeah, you've matured enough that you can go back and look at things in a different kind of viewpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The premise was there.
Right.
The writing skills weren't.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I have a lot of those kind of jokes. I haven't done stand-up in a long time just because, economy is kind of holding me back with gas and then, and then just, I keep writing, but I just haven't really found the time to really go and get back on the trail of open mics, so hopefully that comes sooner than later, but we'll see. For now, I'm just kind of doing this podcast thing. I'm inspired by, Joe Rogan, Opie and Anthony, Bert Kreischer, Theo Vaughn, etc. Those guys are, kind of idols of mine that I enjoy. What I kind of try to represent this or resemble in the podcast kind of deal. I'm not trying to copy them, but, they've kind of paved the road for a lot of podcasters and everything to kind of show you a landscape and model to do it.
Right.
And, I'm doing it somewhat without you.
Yeah, I know you are. You're doing a good job.
Thanks. That is Alec, my producer. He's back for now.
For a little bit.
Yeah.
I do have to go pick her up.
When?
She's already done.
Now?
I've been over here for 2 hours.
Are you leaving now?
In 5 minutes.
All right. Just don't say anything when you leave.
Okay.
All right. I'll say bye now.
Bye, Healy.
Bye. All right, back to the podcast.
It was great to meet you, man.
Great to meet you, too. I know. I'm only here once in a while. I'll be back next weekend, though.
Will you?
Yeah.
I might be putting this whole podcast thing on hold for a little bit till I can get new cameras and everything. We're taking up Billie Jo's episode.
Do you need me to go out to the car and bring in some cameras?
No, you're perfectly fine. It's fine.
I have 2 perfectly good cameras and plenty of battery.
Up to you.
We're
just trying to get equipment.
It's so tempting.
Yeah.
I need to get my own equipment and everything. What kind of cameras are you running, just out of curiosity? You're using them for your shows, I assume, right?
I'm using them for shows, and this next tour has a documentary/reality show being recorded around it. So I've been trying to learn my way around the recording tech and the video editing. Because, I have a great camera crew and video editing crew, but I at least need to know what the hell they're saying to me.
Right.
When they say, well, how do you want it done? I need to at least understand the question.
what kind of lens and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I get what you're saying. No, my main thing is I need to get a switchboard for videos. Like, so instead, because what I'm doing right now is I'm using these two phones, then I'm taking both editing and chopping it up. So when I talk, the camera's on me, and then when you talk, it will go back on you. So far, how this conversation has gone is pretty well. Like, we let each other talk, and it will allow me to gain space to cut back and forth. You probably know Kayvon and Brandon, right?
Yes, I do. I adore them.
They're very difficult to edit. Not necessarily Brandon, but Kayvon's a very difficult edit to.
I can see that being the case.
Yes, it's very hard to edit with him, just because when I start talking, he'll start talking, or it's
I
so
adore
much.
him.
I adore him too. I love him too.
He does that a lot.
He's my favorite little terrorist. That's what I call him.
I have Brandon on a show up in Denver next spring.
Where at?
It's at the Bug Theater
Bug Theater? Okay.
there in Denver. It's the psychedelic comedy.
I think I saw a post about that. Did you post something recently about the psychedelic comedy?
Most likely, because
Okay.
our fall show is coming up October 13th. So,
Okay, that's probably what I saw.
Yeah.
Sure, I probably saw that. I saw something psychedelic, so.
yeah. This one, I have Ralph Anthony coming in from New York.
Wow.
He's not really on tour, but he's been doing a lot of road gigs promoting his 40 for 40 album. So, I have him out there. Ali Kareem.
Ooh, okay.
I know. I love Ali. He's so funny. And the two of them should make for a really fun show.
Yes, absolutely. How many nights?
It's the one night.
Really?
It's
Just a one?
yes.
Why don't you do a weekend? Or is it a big enough show to do a weekend out of curiosity? Or is it just...
It's a fundraiser for the Denver Psychedelic Club.
Got you. Okay. I apologize.
If this were a for-profit show and not a fundraiser for a nonprofit,
got
I
you.
would probably go that
I
route.
got you.
you
What's the
know.
deal with So what's...
Well, you know that it's been decriminalized in Denver.
It's medicinal, right?
It's been decriminalized, and it is, as far as medicinal use, yes, there are some legal approvals.
Okay.
And the Psychedelic Club, they will help you find psychedelic therapy.
Okay.
There are several therapists involved. They are big on safety. If you've never tripped and you just really want the knowledge, they'll make sure that you are safe. They come out and they test your drugs to make sure what you have is what you know you have.
Wow. Okay.
So it's a lot about safety and
Right.
education, and there is some activism for legalities and so forth.
I'm kind of that way. Like I would like to legalize certain drugs, like the ones that are grown, kind of like marijuana, shrooms. I'm not too crazy about the LSD kind of concept of it, because that's kind of a lab-made thing. Does that fall underneath the whole psychedelic thing, or is psychedelic...
That does fall in the psychedelic.
Really? Can you get a prescription for that then here?
No.
Okay.
No, that's still an illegal substance.
That's what I thought.
But as far as legal therapy, there's ketamine therapy,
Okay.
which I've talked to quite a few people who it really helps them. Me being a veteran with PTSD,
I've heard veterans...
I use the mushrooms for
Yeah.
my care.
I've
you
heard
know.
Veterans are allowed to medicate with mushrooms
Some
to an extent.
it
I
depends on
don't-
the state, but
Yeah, I
but
get it. For Colorado, what I've heard, they allow vets to somewhat medicate with.
the changes in the VA as far as marijuana and mushrooms this last few years is just, I'm over the moon about it. It's
Really?
such a great change.
What branch of service did you?
Marines.
Wow. Well, did you serve?
Desert Storm.
Okay, thank you.
I can see you trying to figure.
Yeah.
Oh God, how old do I call her?
No, no, I wasn't. I wasn't going there. I was trying to figure out what brigade and like.
I was when I first
Where you were stationed. And
when I
that's what
first
was
joined
saying.
the Corps. My first duty station was Okinawa, Japan. I was
Okay.
with H&HS 18. That unit does not exist anymore
How come? Is there a
because
reason?
most of the jobs that were done by those Marines are now done by tech.
Okay.
So a lot of the, when we went to the new higher tech systems, because the gear that they were using when I was in was made by Ford the same year that my unit was activated, 1972.
Wow. Okay.
So that was some old ass shit.
Yeah.
That
And
was some low tech shit compared to what they're working on now.
It was more manual tech than.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
A lot of the things the computers now do, you needed one Marine to do each, monitor this part of it. Whereas those 7 Marines who had to monitor those things, that job is now done by one piece of equipment.
You say Desert Storm. Were you in combat ever?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, thank you for your service. I appreciate that for sure.
It was my honor.
It was that's without you, we may not be doing this, or definitely without our military, we won't be doing such a thing. Being able to talk about governments and stuff, conspiracies. No, we couldn't do that. Are you leaving or not? Oh my god!
Mine now.
It's mine now. Ruining the shot and everything.
I'll see you next week.
Bye. That's my buddy Alec. He steps in for my other buddy Mason. That is generally my normal producer. I have a few producers that I can swap in and out. Usually I have a TV here. There's so much I need to do with the studio. Get the flies out of here, obviously. There's one fly that is flying around that I've seen here in a...
I've recorded in worse.
Really? Okay. I'm still working on it, trying to get better and better with each episode, and it's not getting any easier. That's just what
It will.
I hope. We'll see.
You just keep your nose to the grindstone. Just keep remembering what you're working towards, and always keep an eye
Absolutely.
for what you need.
Right.
Because the one thing I've found is opportunities come in some of the most random forms.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've been doing this for going on 4 years now, this podcast, and I just got last March. I got a job with a local radio station here. So I'm running a board. That's so what Alec was doing over there. I was just doing that, not talking or anything. Still doing it, but it's experience. I'd like to be there for a few years and then maybe try into a bigger market, see where I can go. But that's the plan. And then he wants to run a ranch, and I mean, I'm down to run a ranch eventually. No time soon, but we'll see what happens. I mean, I like horses, so I'm a
You
pretty
and your
big
buddy
horse guy.
moving to Wyoming to raise some horses, huh?
He wants to do cattle.
Okay.
I don't like the cold. I'm not a big fan of cold weather, so I would end up in western Texas.
I don't do cold either.
Yeah, and you live in Colorado.
I'm a foreman for a snow shoveling crew in Colorado. I don't do cold. That's what gear is for.
Yeah, true.
If I have to feel the cold, shift over.
Yeah, I'd like to live somewhere warmer, at least. That has mild winters. I don't need 6 feet of snow or that kind of stuff.
Where I live, we don't get 6 feet of snow.
We
We get it about 3 to 6 inches at a time.
Okay.
It'll snow overnight and be gone by noon.
Okay, I was about to ask what Boulder's average of snowfall was, because I know Minnesota it stays.
Okay, we are in a very unique place where the mountains that we are next to are just high enough that the storm doesn't make it over. It makes it around. So Boulder is in this nice little bubble where everybody around us will get 3 inches, 6 inches. We'll get a dusting. It don't suck.
It's very similar like Stillwater. Stillwater, so tornadoes and everything.
Yes,
We're in a dip here.
Where the tornadoes don't reach you,
Yeah.
a lot of the snow doesn't reach us.
Wow, similarities with
Yeah.
Boulder and Stillwater. Interesting. When there's a snowstorm,
Right now,
you guys.
well, other than this current game that's playing right now, we're doing pretty well at football. How
Yeah.
are the Cowboys this year?
Not good. Not good at all. No.
Well,
they
if-
just got shut out by South Alabama. I'm not a big sports guy, honestly. I enjoy my baseball. I'll pay attention to football.
Well, when it comes
here
to
and there.
baseball, the Cowboys rock.
they're
always-
they're not terrible.
You know, I mean,
College baseball, yeah, the Cowboys are pretty decent. I don't know if they made it to the World Series though this year. I don't think they did.
I don't think they did this year.
I think they made it to the tournament, but didn't get to Omaha. Softball, I mean, we're proud of our softball here in Oklahoma with OU and Oklahoma State. Both
Yeah,
programs are excellent.
I admit I didn't get to pay much attention to the women's basketball last year, but
This year?
you know, growing up, I really remember the women's basketball being amazing.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Where'd you grow up? Are you from Oklahoma? Or are
yes,
You from, okay, see, I thought you were a native of Colorado just because you lived there.
I am a native of Colorado. I was born there, but I was raised in Lone Grove.
Okay. Parents lived here.
My
And
dad was from here. Yes,
What brought you back to Colorado? Just
we moved back when my grandmother got sick.
gotcha.
When-
And then
just before. Well, I was halfway through high school.
Gotcha. And then just stuck around there.
Yeah.
Good deal. Okay. What compared to the two states, which one do you prefer? Obviously Colorado. You're living there. So
Yeah.
most likely Colorado.
Yeah,
Is it
I
because
mean-
of the views and scene and everything, or
that's a lot of it. Economy's a big part of it.
what's the economy like, out of curiosity?
Stable.
Really?
When a lot of the states were having financial problems because of the lack of taxes during COVID, we were still fine.
Really?
When unemployment gets high in a lot of the states, we tend to stay right around 8%.
Interesting. Okay.
Because we have the tourism, but dollars that come year round.
Because of skiing.
We have
and-
skiing in the winter. We have hunting through
Hunting, yeah.
through the fall. We have the families on the
It's
vacations
expensive to hunt
through
in
the
y'all
summer.
state when we're out-staters. I've learned that.
Yeah,
Especially when you want to go for big game like elk.
yeah.
It's pretty dime to do it. But
My dad was not a resident of Oklahoma the final years of his life, although he lived here.
really, how's that work?
He kept his license in Colorado so he could afford to hunt.
Smart man. Smart man.
He really was.
It's not a bad idea. I didn't think about that. How long do you have to be in Colorado to be a resident? Do you know?
Well, he lived there.
I
for
get that.
some-
I'm just curious. Like, if I moved there, how long would I have to wait to be?
I'm pretty
resident?
sure it's like 30, 60, 90 days.
Really?
You know, one of those time frames.
I was just curious because I'm like, maybe I should go get a license there, and then
Now, I'm not suggesting
No,
you
no,
do
no, no, I
things
know.
illegal. My father's been gone for like 23 years. Come after him.
no, I got you. And by the way, this is a comedy show, guys. FBI, CIA. I'm joking. Maybe I don't know. Who's your favorite comedian right now that is like a big name that you kind of look up to? Anyone out there that you look up to,
There's
or
a
do you?
few.
Who?
Well, I don't know that a lot of people would see her as a big comedian yet, but she's really close. Her name is Janae Burris. She's out of Denver. And
Okay, I don't think I'm familiar.
okay,
with
the
it.
first time I watched this woman on stage, I was absolutely jealous of how comfortable she is, of how she owns that stage. She has great stage presence, And then when it came time to write my first bio, and they were like, okay, so look up some of the comedians in your area, look up the famous comedians you admire, and read their bios. And when I did that and I saw her education level in performing arts, I was like, oh, she earned that
Makes
shit.
sense, yeah.
But she just went out to California and opened for featured for Josh Blue for a
Wow.
few days. So that's got to let you know, if you haven't heard of her yet, you will soon.
I will soon. Okay.
She's amazing.
That's good. I'm glad more females are getting the opportunity. I mean, is it Jet Ski Johnson? Do you know who I'm talking about? She is on Bad Friends. Jessica Johnson.
Oh yes.
Yeah, she's known as Jet Ski on the show, but she's very talented. She's coming up, and I've been paying attention to her. Obviously, Taylor
Tomlinson,
Yeah,
yes.
she's been doing very well.
That's an understatement, but yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean. And then Roseanne is kind of making a comeback herself too, which I mean I'm kind of happy about that too. I mean, I always was a fan of Roseanne.
She started in Denver.
Roseanne did?
Yes.
Why did I think she was a Michigan? Because of her TV show. Her TV show takes place in Michigan, I'm pretty sure, doesn't it? Dan is a Detroit Lions. Yeah, that's why I think of her being from Michigan. But she's from...
Well, I don't know where she's actually from.
Well,
she started in
Yeah,
Denver.
yeah. Well, I mean, when I say comedian-wise where they're from, I mean where they kind of came out of. Like, Bert Kreischer is technically a New York comic because he broke out with Will Smith in New York and got to move to L.A., but technically he's an L.A. comic because... Technically, his breakout wasn't till the Machine joke kind of thing, you know. Joe Rogan is considered a Boston comic, but he's really more of an L.A. comic. Now he is an Austin comic, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of controversial. I would probably still consider Joe as an L.A. comic, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong, he has the mothership, but I think we're going to see more Austin names that are actually, like, coming out of Austin, that are coming through the mothership. Like... not transplants like Joe or Tom Segura, you know, those guys that they may become Austonians or, you know, become known with Austin. I mean, Joe Rogan's already known with Austin, obviously, but what I mean is, like, really getting your start from that city. And I believe Joe Rogan really got his start from probably L.A. and Bert and, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And like you said, Roseanne got her start out of Denver. So... just basically what I'm explaining is when I say comics like that grade, I'm not saying where they're from. Bert's from Florida. Joe's from Boston, you know, that kind of stuff. Tom was a military brat, Tom Segura. So he, like, I think he went to North Carolina or lived in North Carolina and Florida, just so many places. Bobby Lee is from Minnesota. See, I know a lot about bigger name comedians just because I listen to their podcast, so they open up more. Andrew Santino's from Chicago, you know, that kind of stuff. Dangerfield. So you've been doing it for 12 years.
Uh-huh.
What comedy clubs have you hit in your 12 years that you've been to, and what is your favorite?
Well, my favorite's Comedy Works, of course.
Okay.
You know, where all have I hit? Dry Heat Comedy Club in Albuquerque.
Albuquerque has a comedy club?
Yes, Sarah
Really?
Kennedy runs it. It's amazing.
Is
They
that
opened just like 2 years ago.
I was going to say, because I had Maverick McWilliams on quite a while ago, and he told me
I love Maverick.
When he was on, he was like my first or second episode I ever had on my podcast. He told me there is 0 clubs in the state of New Mexico.
There was.
There were open mics, but there weren't any clubs, is what he told me.
There was, and
there?
Sarah went on a mission of she had a podcast about how it was a dead zone for comedy, and then the support came, and she and Kelly have opened a club, and it's already had its anniversary. They're looking to expand to a bigger venue. So, I mean, yeah.
Wow. That's cool.
It's Sarah. She knows what the hell she's doing.
Right.
You know, I mean, she went out to New York for a few years, learned what she needed to know, went back to Albuquerque and was like, let's do this, you know.
Have you ever done New York ever?
Yes. In New York, I've done Grizzly Pear, Greenwich Village Comedy Club.
I know that one.
And Broadway's.
Broadway's. That sounds familiar. I'm not 100% sure with that one.
Yeah, they're all 3 really fun clubs, and I look forward to working with all of them when I go back.
That's awesome.
I've done mics at other clubs in New York, but I haven't actually been booked there yet.
Yeah.
If they'll book me, I'll mention them.
Okay, gotcha. I was going to ask you what were those mics, but if you're okay, I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
Let me just ask you real quick. Before it closed, did you ever do Dangerfield?
No.
Okay.
I did not get to New York for the first time until about 4 months after Dangerfield's closed.
That's a shame.
Right after I start talking to the booker, and the world shuts down. And when the world is reopened, Dangerfield's is gone, and I'm like, I was this close to being a part of history.
Right.
When I didn't even go to Caroline's while I was there the last time. I didn't know it was going to be gone by the time I got back.
Yeah, true.
You know,
I forgot Caroline's left too.
we love. I could list off the clubs I've performed that are no longer. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, it's a
Because
shame.
during COVID, I was just like, well, there's another one I've never done. There was another one I will never do again. There's another one I've never done.
Bricktown opened up in a weird, funny spot because they opened up maybe 6 months right before COVID. And then they stayed open during COVID and just kept on going, but also obviously did the precautions of COVID, mask, temperature, all that good stuff. And then, I mean, it was just interesting because that's when I started my comedy during COVID. And people are like, oh, God, that must have been hell for you. I'm like, no, it was actually pretty easy, to be honest, because you didn't have the crowd. And they're like, yeah, you need the crowd. I'm like, I get it, but when you're stage fright, all that, it's better to do that. Start in a pandemic was my opinion. I really like that, but
I stayed working through the pandemic. I did a virtual show.
How was
that
that?
lasted? Well, I cheated. Just like you're modeling this off of Rogan, I watched Maria Bamford do a virtual show, and I watched Carmen Morales do a virtual show. And then I had an idea how to put together a virtual show. I modeled it after people who knew what the heck they were doing,
Right.
And for that reason, it did pretty well. It lasted 2 seasons, which, I didn't see a need to come back for a 3rd season when the world was starting to flourish again.
Yeah.
I also ran an open mic in a public park. Outdoor
one.
mic, condoms, went by with the wipes every few minutes on the pen, hand sanitizer right there. I mean, I had
And it worked out and everything?
Yeah, because the audience would
How
come.
far away is Boulder from Denver, just out of curiosity?
About 40 miles.
Okay, so it's less than Stillwater to Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
So you can do shows in Denver and get home at a reasonable hour.
Depending on how late the show is, yeah.
Correct. Okay. Sorry for interrupting. I just was curious because I thought Boulder was closer to Denver than what we are compared to OKC.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a drive for me, about probably 60 minutes to Tulsa or to OKC. So, that's, I was just curious.
Well, when you consider traffic, it's about the same for me.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's a higher dense population in Denver. You're correct. Anyways, continue. I apologize for interrupting you.
No worries. I forgot what I was saying now.
Dang it. We were talking about comedy clubs and how which club was... You want another one?
If you feel like grabbing one. My last time in Atlanta, it's not a club, but every comedian loves it. It's called Star Bar in Atlanta.
Star Bar.
Yes, I got to open for Rory Scovel and had a blast. I've gotten to see him live a few times and felt like I learned a lot every time. But to get to see him on a Monday night, get this place standing room only, and just play and have fun, I was just over the moon. Talk about somebody you learn a lot from.
I don't recognize the name. I apologize, but I'm glad. That's good. You watched him. You've watched his sets. You've learned a lot from him. That's the point of opening or featuring for a bigger act. You're supposed to learn.
Well, this is the first time I've gotten to work with him.
Okay.
Every other time I was, the volunteer taking tickets at the door who just got to see the show.
Right.
Or, so this is the first time he saw me as a fellow comic.
Oh, okay. And it worked out.
Oh, my God. I had so much fun.
So do you work full-time as a comedian now?
Yes.
Really? When did you start being a full-time comedian? Is it 12 years
December of 2019.
Okay. Wow.
Talking about bad timing.
4 years ago. But, I mean, at the same time, here you are.
I quit my job and went full-time comic December of 2019. I was a cook at a nursing home.
Okay.
When the world shut down, and I was like, well, now what? I took a side hustle at shoveling snow. And when the world reopened, they called me up one day and said, "Hey, can you come do some lawns this weekend?" And I was like, "I got sold out shows in New York and New Jersey this week, man." He's like, "Oh, cool. Call us when you get back." So I never saw a reason to end
Call
that
him back.
job when the world reopened, because they're so totally willing to work with me that I'm a full-time comic, part-time landscaper. It doesn't suck.
No, that's actually a good deal.
Oh, yeah.
That's perfect.
And for a farm kid like me, that's an easy job.
Farm kid. So you grew up on the farm in
Yeah.
Colorado? Or
No, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Okay. Yeah, that's right. You halfway through high school, that's what you
Yeah.
mentioned, and you moved back to. So it was more, you lived, where in Oklahoma? Lone Grove?
Okay, Ardmore is halfway between Oklahoma City and Dallas. Lone Grove is just west of that.
So between Ada and Ardmore, basically. I got where you are.
Okay.
Somewhere around Hugo, Oklahoma.
It's just 5 miles west of Ardmore, so it's
Okay.
right
yeah,
next to
yeah.
Ardmore.
Hugo's way further west
Yeah.
than, yeah. Okay, I get what you're saying. Sorry, you said
If there was such a thing as a suburb down there,
it would be the suburb of Ardmore. I got
Right.
you. Okay.
the ruralest ass suburb you've ever known.
So basically, it's like a Perkins or a Morrison to
Yeah.
Stillwater. I got you. Just for my Stillwater listeners, that's the comparison. There you
When
go.
I moved away from Lone Grove, it was a population 4,000. Now it's population 10,000.
Hasn't done much. It went up 6,000 people, but
I had heart failure the last time I went hung out in.
you had heart failure?
I should have been warned when I said I'm going to town what I was going to see. I turned off onto the highway, and the size of the downtown is like tripled. And I was like, "Whoa, where'd all this come from?"
Yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
There's a dispensary where the ice cream shop used to be. I didn't, this is not the Oklahoma I left. Let me tell you.
Right. Yeah, I know that. Yeah. How'd you react to
I wanted ice cream. That's how I reacted. I wanted ice cream.
how'd you react to Colorado legalizing the marijuana? They started out medical and then they went recreational.
I watched a big influx of people come in for the industry, and the ones that stuck around really have
cared and
yeah
worked out.
become great parts of the community. I saw a lot of them come in, learn the stuff, and as soon as it was legalized in their state, they went back as experts. So I'm very happy for them, because they got to live their dream and are probably making a great penny where they went back to.
That's good for them. Did Colorado allow that? I guess as long as you're a resident of the state.
Yeah,
you
you had to be a resident of the state, had to
have a medical license or some type of
and
license.
the medical license is quite
Expensive.
hard to get.
Yeah.
Well, not only do you have to invest in it, but there's rigorous background checks and
There's a lot of
credit and
loops you have to go
yes.
through. Yes. Yeah. Same here in Oklahoma. I don't know how we're set up. Don't ask me. I just buy the product and enjoy it, obviously. But
Is that what you're toking on here?
yeah, if you want to hit that, you're more than welcome to. I don't want to influence you to if you don't want to. But your shirt says High Plains, so I mean.
That is a comedy festival that's going on this weekend.
Really?
Yes.
Are you part of it this weekend then?
No, I'm down here.
Okay, that's in Colorado.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure if there was a High Plains here because we do the High Plains here.
We,
Not the actual thing, but you know what I mean.
there are the comedy festivals that are for the comics,
Right,
and then there's the comedy festivals that are for the fans.
right.
And this one is one that's for the fans. They have
Okay.
almost every lineup. Half the lineup is people that's on some comedy fans' bucket list.
Wow, okay.
So it's
Like Shane Gillis or...
it's a big. I've watched Bobcat Goldthwait, Dulce Sloan, Rory Scovel.
Okay.
They don't. Yes, they do have some local comics, but those are all local comics who are fucking crushing
Right.
hard.
Right.
So that's going on this weekend. So I'm kind of bummed to not be a part of that, but
How's your weekend going with shows this week so far?
it's been amazing. I was at Red Bar last night.
was just about
Really
to ask you.
enjoyed myself.
Where are you headed tonight? This won't be out for a little bit, but
Tonight's some family time.
family time.
Yeah.
That's right. You still have family here,
Yes.
so that's good. I'm glad you get to. That's kind of a bonus for you. Like you get to come here, do comedy, do shows, but you also have family.
Hang
So you
with the
get to-
cousins,
Yeah.
hang with my schoolmates. Yeah.
Almost a high school reunion kind of deal.
Without the mean girls. I mean, we
Yeah.
don't invite them.
Yeah.
They never invited us.
Why invite them? Yeah, exactly. Anything going on tomorrow for you, or are you headed home?
Yes, I am on Roast Mania over at Bricktown,
Tulsa's or OKC's?
Oklahoma City.
Okay.
And then
Guys, we have 2 Bricktowns now.
Yeah,
which I
know.
think is stupid.
Congratulations to the people who run Bricktown for doing that, because we have 2 comedy works, and
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Okay, I take it back. It's not stupid. My bad.
They're that far apart.
I guess I just figured because they have Spokane Comedy Club, you know, they have multiple different city names, Cincinnati Comedy Club, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I figured they just do Tulsa Comedy Club. Now, don't get me wrong, there's already a Tulsa Comedy Club in Tulsa, so they missed out on that. But they could have done
The Grove. That's where the other one is. After
Roastamania.
Roast Mania at Bricktown, I am over at the Grove on JJ and Friends.
Oh, that will be fun.
Yeah.
That will be really fun. JJ's a fun guy, and
He is.
he-
That's who
he
I'm
puts on
roasting
re-
tomorrow.
He puts on really good shows. Just say he's a wannabe Tony Hinchcliffe. He reminds me of a little bit of Tony Hinchcliffe. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, but
It's in the face.
I've been enjoying digging deeper.
Okay, go deeper.
You know,
See, I can scratch the surface for you. I don't know too much.
I'm not big on you look like. More, you know,
You won't hurt him.
I go into people's material to see who they are. Because if they're talking about it on stage,
Ooh.
I'm not going to hurt their feelings, because obviously that's something they've already therapied out.
Right.
Or they wouldn't be talking about it on stage. They wouldn't have video out there of them talking about it.
Right.
That way I know, because I mean, I adore JJ.
Yeah.
I want to give a good roast, but I do not want to hit him where it hurts.
Right.
So yeah, I'm going to play. And I have been cyber stalking and if I go into the second round, it's Cameron or Julie that I'm going to be roasting. So I've been cyber stalking them as well.
Cameron Buckholtz. Oof. That'll be fun.
Won't it?
Julie and
And Julie's so good at it. Julie's freaking good at it.
If I had to put money on it, I think, no offense to any of you guys, I think Julie may win this one, guys.
Oh, yeah, you know, sometimes it's okay to lose.
Is it, though? See, I'm a very competitive person.
I'm very
so
competitive, too, but when it comes to comedy,
I guess you can't.
I have really enjoyed sitting back watching me get my ass kicked.
Because you have to also remember, it's just fun to do it, you know? Yeah. You're right.
I do comedy competitions. Do I ever think I'm going to win? No. Am I there for it? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But when I know full well I'm watching a set that is going to win this, not only do I acknowledge that, I acknowledge all the ways it's working.
Makes sense. Yeah, definitely. Hold on, I'm going to switch my hair. Bump my head on the mic. Ow. What's Denver's or Boulder's weather right now? Probably cooler than this.
Yeah, about 10 degrees.
Really? 80s?
It's been, it was the low 80s when I left, and they were talking like it was going to be high 70s, low 80s the next week, so.
Interesting. Yeah, we're not supposed to be in the 90s anymore. It's September, and I think we're like around the 90s right now.
I know, it's crazy.
That's why I got the fan going. I hope my mics aren't picking too much of it up, which I don't think they do necessarily. It'll be okay. Don't worry. Your episode will still come out fine. I always get nervous about it. I'm like, I hope they don't hate it too much. I don't try to have people on and embarrass them or anything. Like, the whole reason for the podcast is to support you guys, comics, sometimes politicians if it's an election year. Like, I'm not necessarily supporting the politicians. I'm just letting them get their words out, all
Right.
that. I'm a platform just to be kind of a whore for, you know?
Well, let's support some. I am going to be on a show in Lawton
Okay.
on November 10th. This is going to raise money for disabled veterans. Matt Farrell's putting it on. Well, let me pull up the details
I know
on
Matt
that.
Farrell. I think I've met him once or twice.
Well, I hope so. I mean, he's an active comic here in
I just haven't shown up to any mics in a long time. So
yeah,
I can forget faces very easily.
that does happen. With me meeting, I'm on the road almost as often as I'm home sometimes, and people are like, we've met before. Why don't you remember me?
Because I'm touring and I'm
Because
meeting
I meet
people.
about 500 to 600 people a week.
Yeah. I hope you remember me, though. Billie Jo, do you
Okay.
remember me? No. We did a podcast together. We sat down
It's-
for 90 minutes.
Matt Farrell and Friends Disabled Veterans Benefit Show.
Okay.
And it's in Lawton at the Legion. And as a vet, I'm always thankful
it.
for a chance to give back.
Absolutely. I want to kind of dive deeper into the being a vet. Like,
Okay.
what all kind of trauma did you experience? Everyone, what I've heard for military, everyone experiences some sort of trauma, some sort of PTSD.
Uh-huh.
It's not necessarily combat PTSD, but you might have. Did you experience? Maybe I should start out. Did you experience any type of PTSD or?
Yes.
Okay. And I guess I'll just leave it there. I don't want to dive
That's a
much
good
deeper.
idea.
My bad. Sorry. I just realized I might be violating OSHA terms, so I apologize about that.
No worries.
My bad. Now I feel like I got on the wrong foot. Okay. Try to get on a better foot.
No, I was just like, dude, this guy is not going to try to turn this into therapy. Please
No,
don't turn
I wasn't
this
trying to turn it
I
into-
don't want to ugly cry in front of your camera here, man.
I wasn't trying to. I was just trying to get to know you a little better, and like, because I mean, I try to get to know and become friends with everyone I come on to. I'm not trying to make you cry or
Come
like,
on to. Don't come on to me, man. That's not how you treat a guest.
No. Explain to me what your deepest, darkest things are. What is broken inside you? No, that is not this type of podcast.
There's
so.
this little bone.
No, I guess the question was, do you have PTSD? The answer, yes, obviously. And you're in the perfect state to really, as a veteran, to help with your PTSD. I feel like Colorado.
Yes.
I feel like there's only 2 states that I've read about that really care necessarily about their vets, trying different kind of antidotes or different ways to help them. Oregon and Colorado. I know Oregon has decriminalized
Oregon's
So-
decriminalized quite a bit.
everything almost, but like
Well, I don't think the whole state has decriminalized everything. I think that's only a couple of cities.
Okay, cities.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, is that cigarettes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got ashtray right there.
Yeah,
for you.
that's what made me think it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Let me go close that door real quick. We can take a break real quick.
Okay. I may still have some old stamps I can pass your way.
I would love to.
I
I'll
mean,
pay
they
for them.
would be old stamps. They would be like from the 70s and 80s.
I'll take them. I'll pay
The
for
texture
them.
is
absolutely.
texture, no matter,
I love any type of tooling and whatnot. I've always been looking for more tools, so yeah, I'll absolutely. I'd love some if you have them.
I'll look and see if I still have any left.
It's a big thing I'm trying to get into. I'm making my own chaps right now, and eventually I'm gonna start investing more and more. If I can build my own chaps, then start making other chaps and selling them online slowly.
I used to watch my father do leather work growing up, and I tried to get into it when I was in my 20s. Managed to get a hold of some tools and so forth, and then I realized just how expensive that hobby is. And I was like, wow.
It
No
is.
wonder Dad was always trading tools with friends instead of buying new.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
very expensive.
He only ever had like 30 stamps, but he always had different stamps because he was trading those stamps so that he could always have the textures he needed.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, stamps are... No,
Stamping leather takes time, but oh my God, it's so beautiful when it's done.
it is. I'm having trouble when I do, like, the weave pattern. It's generally not straight enough. So I have that problem of getting it straight.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
You find yourself taking those little micro cuts on there so that you can know how to keep the stamps lined.
Yeah.
There's little things that just help.
I just learned that. You just saying that, I didn't know that. But what I was doing a ruler. Just keeping going, and then I learned.
Dad would do that with a pencil.
Oh,
Very, very light pencil work.
That's not a bad idea. I didn't think about that. I need to do that.
There are ways to align it to
there
make
are.
sure that you keep your stamps going
Straight.
in the yeah. Because when I was cake decorating, I had the same problem learning basket weave. With whether it's stamping leather or putting frosting on a cake, you can get off when you're trying to, artistically do a weave pattern.
I could see that, yeah. Weaving frosting's a little different, though. It's not just a stamp. You're doing more than a stamp, aren't you, basically? Or are you still stamping?
Well, you take the up and the across, and you have to remember which ones the up is on top and
Right.
which ones the across is on top, and make sure those are all straight
followed.
this way and that way. So it's very much the same as keeping your stamps aligned. You can be going along thinking you're straight, look up and realize you're 4 stamps in and you are off course. Same with the frosting.
Yeah, I was trying to make my own belt, and the stampings got off. So I need to buy more leather to remake a belt. But yeah, I'm getting into it. I really enjoy it. I went to Tandy Leather in OKC.
I love that store.
Me too.
I have been a Tandy customer since I was a kid.
It's
Getting my
great.
first, I think the first suede I bought was purple.
Really?
Oh, my father was thrilled.
That suede I bought from Hobby Lobby just because we have one accessible here. And I couldn't make it to Tandy's in time, but that yoke you saw is from Tandy Leather. It's from their veg tan scrap bin, which is only $20.
Even
And
their
it's a
scrap
big-
bin has good pieces.
Yeah.
I have been buying out of the scrap bin for a lot of my art projects and stuff over the
And
years.
they're good prices.
Oh yeah.
You
I had
get-
what looked like pistol holsters for flowers
That's cool.
from out of the scrap bin. And yes, I
That's cool.
stamped them and
Right.
had all kinds of fun stuff on them. I had them for years.
I didn't even think about that. That's actually a really clever idea.
Some of my house is decorated with barbed wire. Okay,
I mean,
not modern barbed wire, but various old pieces of barbed wire
from fencing and...
from over the last couple hundred years.
You live in the country of Boulder still, or are you...
No, I live in town.
In town? Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't... See, when you described your house, I kind of imagined a cabin,
Yeah,
kind of...
cabin off and tucked away.
Not like rural, but like if you've ever been here to Stillwater, just kind of on the edge of town.
I spent quite a bit of time on campus over the years.
Yeah, just like on the edge of this town, there's like nice houses, or like even just small little houses are tucked away, but they're accessible to Stillwater still. So like that's kind of how when you described your house with the barbed wire, I'm like, maybe she has some land and that's where that's what she's talking about.
No, I'm a broke ass comedian.
Yes. Absolutely. I get it. I'm a broke ass podcaster. But we're making it.
We are.
You're making it in your way, I'm making it in my way. I'm really inspired by Opie and Anthony. Do you know who Opie and Anthony are?
No.
They were the competition of Howard Stern on when Howard went to Sirius.
Uh-huh.
They went to XM. or vice versa. I can't remember which one Howard signed. I think it was Sirius. But they became competitors for the radio on those, what is it, Soundwave, I guess. And they were both out of New York, basically in the same building, and Howard Stern hated them, and they hated Howard Stern, and they were both shock jocks and everything. One was a duo, one was just Stern and Robin and his group, but it was Stern, basically. And Opie and Anthony got the scraps of Howard Stern. So Howard Stern would have the A-listers like Kinnison, Pryor, all that, right? And then Opie and Anthony were left with the leftovers. Joe Rogan, Rick Voss, Patrice O'Neill, the no talent group. The guys that are now big names. Getting off subject one more time. Patrice O'Neill, obviously. If he was still alive today, do you think he would have been able to adapt to the woke mob that has happened, or do you think he would have stayed straight and been like, because he went against a lot of the stuff. Like, have you heard, like...
There are places where we feel the need to push back, and there are places where, we accept that this is what the audience wants.
And you're not the only one I've asked this question to. I've asked other comedians about Patrice.
There are ways he would have pushed back, but no matter how much we hate or love this, there is a place in comedy for everybody. There is an audience for everybody. Definitely. Sometimes we wish people would go find their audience and leave us alone.
Well, like Otto and George, that's kind of, you got kind of like that. Yeah. Bert Kreischer isn't for everyone. Joe Rogan definitely isn't for everyone. Yeah, you're right. You got to find your own road and kind of find your own crowd too. But
right.
Like, Joe Rogan's not just booking shows everywhere because, he's aware that the atmosphere is kind of toxic out there, especially with his name. That's why he's doing mothership shows. Also he has a club to kind of procure and...
I don't think the environment is toxic
you don't think
in the
so?
Nation, no.
I don't know if it's... But, maybe I'm not using the word right, but I think there's a lot of tension in the United States, and I think they're just... I don't know if it's fans or even other comedians, but people are waiting for you to say something and screw up. Maybe that's just the OKC comics that I've talked to. I've talked to a few comics that are like...
You're always going to have people who are waiting for your downfall.
That's what most of them say.
If you're out there doing what you want to do
Correct.
And thriving, there's going to be somebody...
that wants to see you fall.
Yeah. But that does not mean that the environment is toxic. That just means there's somebody who really needs a life.
Okay. Let me take back the word toxic.
As far as cancel culture, if you upset the audience and they're no longer interested in what you have to say, right. Can you really blame other people?
No. That's on you, yeah. It's on you and your material.
Yeah.
No,
if your material sucks, if you suddenly take a hard right and away from whatever you've been doing and do something different that your audience does not like, and they're like, we're out.
Right.
Did they cancel you? Or did they just move on to what interests them now?
Good point. Yeah, no. They just moved on because... If
you do something like Chris D'Elia did, and he deserves...
Chris D'Elia or whatever?
Yeah.
He has a cult now.
He deserves to not have
right.
a fan base. Because he was out there grooming kids.
Yeah.
He deserves...
For what?
To be pushed to the outside. He was not canceled.
Yeah, he's still out there. He's still doing things.
There's still an audience for him.
Right.
Like I said, hate it or love it.
Ugh.
Yeah, it is there.
I'm mixed with that one because, he has some good bits in comedy. I like him as a comic. I don't like him as a person, if that makes any sense.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like, I think people forget and I'm not trying to get
Oh, I know a lot of comics that I really like their work, but I wouldn't hang with.
Right, yeah. Like,
You know.
I mean, like, people talk about Joe Rogan. Like, I don't like him as a person. I'm like, okay, I like him as a person. His comedy's not all there. I think he's funny, but, I mean, I think he takes his podcast onto stage kind of thing. Like, if you ever listen to his comedy, it's conspiracy theories and talking about, you know.
And that's why I don't listen to his comedy.
Yeah, I mean, I listen to his podcast more than his comedy because, I mean, what he says on his podcast, he's going to take to the stage eventually. So, I do like Shane Gillis. You know who Shane Gillis is? I like him maybe just because of his how he pokes fun at both political parties.
I mean, we should.
Yeah. I mean, there
are imbeciles in both parties.
There are.
There are rock stars in both parties.
Absolutely.
You know.
But that's the other problem.
In Colorado, we are really enjoying laughing at,
Lauren Boebert.
Yeah, Florida woman turned, we're Miss Colorado. Miss Ho Colorado.
I'm sure. I mean, I feel like our...
Turns out that was a first date.
I feel like our representatives from Oklahoma are pretty quiet. We don't make headlines.
Except for the superintendent.
Yeah, superintendent's different. I mean, I'm talking about like in the federal government. Lauren Boebert's in the federal House of Representatives. I don't see anyone from Oklahoma House of Representative-wise doing anything like that. Stitt's kind of fucked up. I mean, there's opinions there that I could say because, I mean, my opinion is I think the Indians that control the casinos and everything need to open up to sports gambling. I get Stitt wanting more money. So, like, in my opinion, that's kind of a trade-off. Native Americans, the state will allow sports gambling, sports books, and you have full control of that. So you can control the prices and everything. And then you get maybe, I don't know what the numbers are, like a 2% or a 3% tax from the state of Oklahoma. Maybe that's even too much right there, but you know what I mean. Just, I'm throwing out numbers. And then everyone would be happy, in my opinion. I just feel, because I looked at the casinos already, they're $1 billion corporation in the state of Oklahoma. Maybe even more. No problem with that. I'm happy for the tribes. Good on their part. They get back at the white people. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't really care about cards. I don't really care about doing the slots. Horse betting's okay, but it's just not the same. I would rather go to a casino and put a bet in on Colorado minus 30 or, covering or whatnot. Do the covers, the spreads, all that kind of stuff. We can't do that in this state, and it's just really upsetting about that. And I even say I'm not a big sports fan.
I left.
Yeah.
Tattoos were illegal. 3.2 was the only beer.
Yep, 3.2, yep.
Gambling was illegal throughout the state. So now to see the nations have casinos and you guys have lottery and tattoo shops downtown.
There weren't casinos?
No.
Really? That's a newer kind of thing.
Yes.
I thought
it's only in like the last 30 years that the nations or less that the nations have had casinos.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Wow. I always thought they've always had the casinos.
There was no lottery when I left because gambling was illegal. So even the tribes did not have gambling.
Interesting. I wonder what sparked that then.
Me too. Because, I mean, I was driving my mom around one day, and I was like, what is that ugly purple and yellow building over there? She said, oh, that's the casino.
What?
All right. It was big enough news that Lone Grove got a stoplight, but now you're telling me Oklahoma has casinos? What?
Yeah.
And then I saw a tattoo shop. Wow, when did that change?
That changed when I moved here. I remember Oklahoma didn't have tattoos for a minute, and then I remember all the tattoo shops sparking up here in Oklahoma. Obviously, dispensary sparked up here, too.
Oh, yeah. Lone Grove still has one liquor store, but 6 dispensaries.
But the rule here in Oklahoma is every casino is associated with a tribe. not one casino is like a white man's like casino, like Vegas or Atlantic City or all those. Like,
They're owned by the nations.
yes, there's no Trump casino here in Oklahoma. That would
There's
be
no
illegal.
Trump casino anyway.
Not anymore, huh?
Yeah.
That's right. It got.
Bankrupted.
Yep, that was Atlantic City, huh?
Yeah.
Yep, I forgot about that. There's only Trump Tower now, huh? And Mar-a-Lago.
No, he has Bedminster and other
Oh
things,
yeah, he has quite a bit.
Yeah.
Bedminster is in
New Jersey.
I was thinking he only had a few things here in the States because I know he has overseas stuff too, and everyone protests those and their golf courses. I know he bought like a golf course in Ireland or Scotland, and they protested him. That was pretty cool. That's funny, just hearing all the Scottish like, oh, fuck you. I think they have the greatest accent, other than Australians. I was listening to Shane Gillis' last special, and he's like, could you imagine an Australian on 9/11? He's like, crikey, an airplane, get down. Oh, no, another one. You know, you couldn't take him seriously. Like, I don't know. I agree with that for sure. I'm like, if an Australian told me 9/11 was
Panic
happening.
is still contagious.
Yeah.
No matter, even if they sound hilarious.
Yeah, that's true. Who, super random, and it flashed in the back of my head while I mentioned Australians. Who is one of the most influential celebrities that have died in the past that you miss? I'll go first. Steve Irwin. I miss Steve Irwin. Every time I see a stingray, I punch it. Say that's for Irwin.
I'm still getting over Tina Turner.
That one was, yeah.
She was an icon. She was a hero for any woman who ever felt like the world was just absolutely not going to let them thrive and shine, who, you know, still had a dream. She was our beacon of, you know, I can still do this. Look at what the heck she overcame.
Right.
You know?
Trying to think if I miss any other celebrities. Robin Williams, obviously.
Yeah.
It's been a lot.
His death was hard because he was such an amazing talent and human being.
He was a special person.
Have you ever seen him on Inside the Actors Studio?
I don't think I have.
Find that episode.
Inside, what was it called?
Inside the Actors Studio. It's
Inside the
PBS.
Actors Studio.
He would just randomly just go into character in a moment's notice. The poor guy is trying his best to interview and is just holding his sides instead. Because he would get halfway through a question, Robin's already on it and acting out something and just...
I've seen his late night interviews and stuff where he does different accents.
But this is one for students.
Okay.
Inside the Actors Studio, he is being interviewed and talking to a room full of students.
Okay.
So you really get an actor's perspective on acting, on his career, and like I said, you'll learn tons.
I'll have to go
Anybody who has any kind of aspiration to try improv should really watch that.
Okay.
You know?
I'll check it out. You guys go check it out too. Talking to the camera and the viewers, if you're still here. I hope you are.
If we're not boring you that bad.
Hopefully I get some pickups from Colorado. Colorado fans, welcome to Oklahoma and a creepy garage where I'm holding Billie Jo hostage. She's smiling. That's not a real smile.
People know better.
You know people never leave here. If you guys listen to the Kayvon Brandon.
I set a pin. They know where to find me.
Oh, no. Get rid of the phone.
You don't want a bunch of mad Marines showing up going, where's our sister?
Touche. That is very true. That is very true. Do you need another one?
Oh, I'm good for now.
Okay,
Thank you.
I was just making sure. Because I know I just saw you shaking it too. So I was like, maybe she needs another one. I can always get you another one. Yeah. This is just kind of... if you look at your seat, this is the material I made the chair out of because there was a cushion underneath and I wanted to put more of a cushion for us.
And I appreciate that because I have a bony ass.
So do I. And
Bony ass
what's left
kids,
over.
you know, the plight of us.
Yeah, people are like, oh, you're so skinny. No, our ass hurts all the time. That's a downfall. Thank you for the compliment, but my ass hurts.
Yeah, people think it's a compliment, and then they follow it up with, you should eat something.
Right.
Well, there went the compliment right out the window. Thanks for turning it into body shaming.
I mean, I was like 230, almost 240, and then I like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I just dropped weight.
I've always been the size of a rope.
Really? I have always been chubby, and I guess I got that sprout. I woke up my metabolism because I don't know what I started doing. Drinking cold water in the morning, I guess, is one of the things you can do to activate your metabolism, and I started doing that. Started skipping breakfast, only eating lunch, and then a like medium late-ish dinner, nothing too heavy either, and then go bed. So like at 8:30 dinner, something light, go bed, wake up, do it all over again. And started noticing I didn't have like man titties anymore. I was like, bet, let's keep doing this. And
You lost your moobs, man.
Yep. Exactly. Which I'm happy about. Moobs. I've never heard it called that. That's good.
Man boobs or moobs?
Yep. Didn't think about that. MOOBS. Moobs. I like it. I'm going to use it more often. Trademarked by Billie Jo.
Oh no, that's a common term where I come from.
I'm sure it's a common term for us too. I just haven't really talked about man titties in a long time because I haven't had them.
You don't
Which is
miss
okay.
what you lost. It doesn't sound like.
Not really. No, I'm okay. I'm happy. I'm weighing in at like 160, bounce back and forth 155, 160. So I'm happy with that. So, and you know, keep doing that. And I walk my dog, and we do that.
Oh, that's a cute dog, by the way.
That's not my dog. That's my mom's dog. I have a golden retriever. I have to kennel her up because she gets super excited. So.
I love goldies.
Yeah, okay, I'll let you meet her after the podcast if you have time.
My boy that passed away in February, he was a
Aw.
golden retriever, German shepherd, and pit bull mix. Oh. He was so handsome.
I was gonna say
So smart. When I brought him home, I just had to accept I'm no longer the smartest one in the house.
That's people say pit bulls are dumb. No, those are the 3 most intelligent dogs you have in one dog. German Shepherds are good police dogs. You got a golden retriever that is just friendly as can be. You have that part and will retrieve probably. Then you have a pit bull.
Oh, he was a fetchaholic.
Oh, yeah. Pit bulls love fetching and everything too. So
You know, the pit bull side showed when we got inside because he was like, I think I'm your teddy bear.
okay, yeah.
75 pounds of let's cuddle.
Right. Yeah, that's how my golden is. I let her sleep on the bed and everything, and she'll just like be a human and lay next to me and just like, this is my spot now. I was like, cool.
Yeah. That's the hardest part since Tigger died is learning to sleep alone. I'm like, damn, I'm going to have to get a girlfriend or some shit. We were together 9 years. We were happy. We didn't need a girlfriend. Now I'm like, shit, that the other side of the bed is cold.
Yeah. Have you considered maybe foster or like humane society or anything?
Well, with me getting ready to,
go to her and everything.
Yeah, because Outrageous is going to be 8 to 10 weeks
Yeah,
on
it
the road.
doesn't make sense.
And we're talking balls to the walls time on the road. So it's not going to be like after he had been trained and came to me when he went with me.
I got you.
You know, because a puppy needs trained.
Yeah,
The VA doesn't put the same training into dogs that they did then.
I got you.
Nowadays, they're like, this dog passed all the tests. Go train it.
I got you.
You know, whereas the day Tigger came to me, I could take him on the
Everywhere.
bus, on the train. I have pictures of him sitting next to me when I did TV interviews. I have pictures of me with him next to me on the stage.
That's cool.
You know. So, to train a dog to be what Tigger was capable of is going to take a lot more time and effort than what I'm going to be able to put in this next year.
Right. I didn't even think about that. I'm sorry about that.
It's okay.
I look at my dog, and she just turned 7 September 20th. The only reason I know is she's a purebred, so we have paperwork for her. And I'm like, okay. And I looked up, and their lifespan is like 12 to 13 years, and I'm just like,
You're middle-aged, baby. We better get to having some fun. Yeah.
I'm like, you're 49 now, so let's go start having more fun.
Yeah.
I was not ready. That hit hard. I was like, oh wow, you're old. And she's starting
Does
to
she
get.
have the Goldie glasses yet?
No, not yet.
Because I mean, when they get that
she's starting to show like a
lens.
little like slight more light around her like mouth and everything, but it's not terribly showing yet. She's still holding up very, very well. She's finally gotten the elbow, like the rub that Labradors and the Retrievers get, where it's just kind of skin on, rough skin. But I mean, I looked that up. I'm like, am I doing something wrong? How do I get the fur to grow? And they're like, oh, it's just part of aging for them. Like,
it's just who they are.
Yep, that's exactly it. How long have we gone? About an hour and 13 minutes. I have to pee. So, you cool with wrapping it up and
Sure.
promoting? What shows do you have? I apologize for wrapping it up. If I didn't have to pee, I'd go a little longer. But
Roast Mania at that's tomorrow.
That's
but
tomorrow.
I'm at Bricktown on Thursday as well.
okay.
And then I'm at Rose City Comedy Club in Tyler, Texas on the 30th.
Jesus, you're busy.
Yes, I am. I love
No
it.
wonder you don't need another dog right now. Yeah, you're right.
I'm stopping in Albuquerque on the way home. I believe that I have.
So you're going in a big circle. Sorry for
Yes,
interrupting.
yes,
I didn't
big
mean to cut you
circle.
off. So you come down from Colorado to either Tulsa or OKC, and then go down into Texas. Do you
Right.
ever do Dallas and stuff like that?
I haven't yet,
Okay.
but Funniest Comic in Dallas is going to be going on while I'm there, and so I found that everybody's got shit going. Nobody really had spots for me this time,
Oh.
so I will be hitting Dallas in the next year. We're hoping to bring the Outrageous tour through Dallas when we go through Texas.
That'll be fun.
I know.
That's going to be really, really fun.
Oh, I know. 12 comics, 10 weeks. We're going to do 12 episodes for the series. It's going to be an amazing time.
Where can people find the series?
We have not attached to a network yet,
Okay.
which is why we could stay working right now.
Okay, because there's no writers or anything,
Right.
so you're not part of SAG or
Right.
anything. Have you
Whereas
considered?
if I had been attached to the network before the strike started, we would be.
Have you sorry for interrupting
worries.
again. No, I'm terrible at interrupting. If you haven't noticed, have you considered just shooting it yourself, such as like a YouTube, almost like a lot of these other comedians are doing, like bigger names like Andrew Schultz and all that? Or is it just too much time?
We are. I can't say too much, but there are goals that are being reached by doing it the way we are. So
got
yes,
you.
it will be on a streaming service or on a network, but we haven't sold it to anyone yet. That's further in the process.
I got you. I'm not trying to make
The pilot hasn't been shot yet, but
It's coming though.
yes.
I'm excited for you. That's gonna be awesome.
we got the contract signed and approval on the funding, so I know.
Me and Brandon are trying to shoot a movie, so I'm trying to save up some money and get like some good filming cameras to actually start shooting. So when I do see him, we can just like be like, because it's all mainly just improv kind of. We have a main script that to lead us along, but other than that, we just improv everything we say, and it's a little road trip about our podcast and stuff, and someone trying to kill us. It's gonna be a good movie if I ever can get it set up. Anything else, Billie Jo? You have
October 13th in Denver, Colorado. I have psychedelic comedy. This time around, we have Ralph Anthony coming out of New York, Ali Kareem from Denver, and Tara Scott and Ronell Harden from Denver. They're This is an amazing show, and it's at the Bug Theater. It usually sells out. It's going to be so much fun.
It sounds really fun.
Yes.
You said October
13th. Yep, Friday the 13th. It's a full moon, and we are doing mushrooms in the stars.
I may see what I can do. Maybe take that weekend off and get up to Colorado.
It's quite an event. We'll get you tickets for the after party.
That'd be a fun thing.
It is an off the charts kind of event. Let me tell you.
And then you're coming back in November.
Yes, I am doing Matt Farrell and Friends in Lawton to raise funds for the disabled veterans. That's at the American Legion. So
that's exciting.
Yes.
I'm so happy for you. You're
go pick on Fort Sill for a little minute.
You're one of the busiest guest I've ever had on. Like, don't get me wrong, Brandon's super busy. Kayvon is too.
And he's about to, with what Brandon's been doing this year, he's about to be even busier.
Oh, yeah.
And I look forward to being a part of that because I've got him coming up to Denver to do some of my shows in the spring. Yes.
That's going to be exciting.
I have him opening for Mike Kaplan.
If you can, in November, we can get you back on and...
Let's do it.
Promote your next time that you're going to come on.
Sounds fun.
Or, come back down, and every time you come down, we can just promote the next time you're coming,
That sounds great. It'd be a lot of fun.
Billie Jo, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you doing this. Guys, I love you. Thank you for listening.
Now go pee.
Yes.
I couldn't resist.
Hello, Mark Trotter. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Welcome to the Healy Cast. What's up, Billy Freeman?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Hello, Marty.
Oh, hey, buddy.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Next, how are you doing? What's your real name? What's your government name? That is my first question. I'm just going to go right off the bat and go. JJ Wood.
What's up? Long-time listener, first-time guest. Really excited to be here.
Y'all have headphones now? You get
I got
Healy, what year were you born? 97, 96?
95.
See, all right. Technically, you're a 90s baby, but you missed half of it.